In May 2024, something that used to be a rare sight reserved for Earth's polar regions suddenly became visible in the most unexpected places. The northern and southern lights, usually only seen near the Arctic and Antarctic, were now lighting up skies as far away as Florida and London. People who once thought they had to travel thousands of miles to see these stunning displays were now watching them from their own backyards. These are called auroras borealis and auroras australis, respectively. But this incredible sight came with a twist. GPS systems start failing, internet outages spread, and communication networks become unreliable around the globe. It left many wondering what was causing these beautiful light shows and the sudden wave of technological chaos.
Most people would describe the sun solely as a gentle celestial body made of energy, but it is much more than this. The effect this atmosphere has throughout the solar system is apparent. Did you know our sun has an atmosphere too? The atmosphere refers to the layer of gases that are held together by the gravitational pull of an astronomical object, like our sun, which is surrounded by extremely hot plasma. Frequently, the sun starts to remove a great amount of its hot plasma that gathers around its corona, the outermost layer of the atmosphere of the gas giant. Throughout this process, the atmosphere finds itself again in balance and not overwhelmed by the solar activity occurring off the surface. You see, approximately every 11 years, the sun experiences a cycle in which the poles invert, causing a high level of magnetic energy on the sun's surface, producing huge solar flares. We call this process solar maxima. In May of this year, the Earth went through multiple X 1.0 class solar flares. You will probably be curious about what an X 1.0 class solar flare means. Well, basically solar flares are measured by a scale, similar to the ones of the intensity of sound, where X is the largest classification of the wavelength range. What happened in May was the following. A large amount of CME, coronal mass ejection, was launched from the Sun into space, turning it into space waste. Once it exited the Sun's atmosphere, the electrified plasma was received by various planets. For instance, planets with a strong magnetosphere, such as Earth, were capable of producing the awe-inspiring phenomenon we know as auroras, due to the reaction between the charged particles of solar flares and the Earth's magnetic field. How do solar storms affect our planet? It may be through solar flares or coronal mass ejections. The electromagnetic forces present on both are redirected to the poles of our planet by Earth's geomagnetic field, and the potential risks are massively mitigated, with the only remains of radiation interacting with the atmosphere to form the polar auroras.
Now, this is what happens normally, but when the sun reaches its maxima, the power of the solar storms is intensified, and their effects are as well. When storms of magnitudes such as the ones from May 2024 reach Earth, their bigger force alters the geomagnetic field and forces the electromagnetic fields to merge. This leads to the direct crash of all the electric plasma from the Sun with the Earth's surface. This event is defined as a geostorm, and its effect seems to be taken out of a sci-fi novel. First, the famous aurora borealis and aurora australis, which are normally limited to the poles of our planet, are able to be manifest through all of the globe, as electromagnetic waves that make this phenomenon possible are in abundance. Communications throughout all of the world are also interrupted, as radio waves, the ones we mainly use for data transfer technology, from the geostorm get in the way of the ones we send to each other. This basically affects every area of the interconnected in which we live in, and slows down progress and work of medical centers, scientific labs, big corporations, and many other parts of society. It basically creates a huge mess. And as a final point, as our technology principally operates on electricity, the geomagnetic storm is able to completely render useless all of our machines, and taking into account how we have grown very dependent on it, a big part of the population will suffer from these malfunctions.
Imagine this apple is the Earth's core. Now, there is something special about this core that allows life on Earth to thrive. Its ability to spin. You see, as the core rotates, it causes metals inside to move. And this motion generates an electric charge thanks to the Ampere-Maxwell's law. This electric charge creates a magnetic field around our planet, the geomagnetic field, which shields us from solar radiation. But here's the thing, if the Earth core were to cool down and solidify, the spinning stops. No more rotation means no more electric charge, and without that charge, the Earth's magnetic field disappears. And without our magnetic field, we will lose the protection that makes life on Earth possible. A similar thing has happened on the planet Mars, where apparently the core of the planet has stopped rotating a long time ago. And with its thin atmosphere, it is completely vulnerable to X-rays, gamma rays. Along with the fact that it doesn't have any aurora borealis. This is not the case on other planets, such as the gas giants of our solar system, where each one has a strong magnetic field that generates these aurora borealis at their poles. Another example is the planet Venus. Even though its magnetic field isn't as strong as Earth's, its dense atmosphere, composed mostly of CO2, allows it to replicate the phenomena of aurora borealis, although it is not limited to the poles of the planet. So, fun fact.
These waves are potentially dangerous to our technology indeed, and this is far from being the first and last time that this happened. In fact, humanity has gone through these events since the early use of electricity on the Carrington event of 1859, where the solar storm was so strong that people could see it from even the equator line, destroying the global telegraph system. So if that happened at that time, what can stop the sun in the future from getting us with a coronal mass ejection so big that it had an irreversible effect on the global communication and use of our technology?